So President Trump is proposing giving every newborn a MAGA savings account. What do you think about this? It would be under a pilot program called the Money Account for Growth and Advancement. And it would give every baby with a Social Security number born between 2025 and 2028 $1,000. Families could add up to $5,000 each year. The money would grow with interest through investments and would be exempt from being taxed.
Exempt from taxes, that's good. That's a huge...
Can we extend that to those born maybe between 1984 and...
Yeah, right. I think the bigger issue is childcare in this country. You know, we always talk about making it affordable, accessible. I think that would help more people than this little savings account.
I don't know. If you're about to have a kid, sounds pretty good to you right about now.
But childcare will be too in the future. That'll stay for a long time. Developing this morning, Governor Gavin Newsom is challenging President Trump's tariffs. The governor and California Attorney General Rob Bonta filed a motion for a preliminary injunction to stop the Trump administration's tariffs. The lawsuit calls the tariffs illegal. The injunction was filed as part of California's lawsuit challenging the president's use of emergency powers to enact broad sweeping tariffs that Bonta claims hurt the state, consumers, and businesses. A hearing for this case is scheduled for next week.
Meantime, President Trump's Middle East swing continues, drumming up business during his first major overseas trip of his second term.
But there are critical tests ahead, and the administration is also keeping a close eye back home on Capitol Hill. Doug Luzader live for us with an update on this historic trip. Doug, good morning.
Good morning. That's right. The president keeping an eye on his, what he calls his big, beautiful bill that is in the process of making its way through the Republican-controlled House. In the meantime, he has moved on to his next stop overseas, and that is Qatar. The president and the crown prince emerging alongside a gathering of Arab leaders this morning for a group photo and promises of cooperation.
I've seen tremendous unity, tremendous friendship, and the whole world is watching the Middle East, and many are watching with envy.
Yesterday, the Saudis pulled out all the stops in welcoming President Trump, who emerged with what he says is about $600 billion, maybe even $1 trillion in Saudi investments. The follow-through is still a question, but the warm welcome extended to top U.S. business leaders.
He rolled out all of these new investments, but the big question now is how that is going to translate into some big foreign policy wins.
Trump met with the new president of Syria this morning after just announcing the U.S. would drop sanctions against that country. He's still hoping to reach a nuclear deal with Iran. On Thursday, there are talks in Turkey to end the war in Ukraine. And back in Washington, House Republicans are moving ahead with his big budget bill as Democrats are questioning the president's plan to allow the Defense Department to accept a gift from Qatar, a 747 to temporarily replace the aircraft used as Air Force One.
I am announcing a hold on all DOJ political nominees until we get more answers.
Some people say, oh, you shouldn't accept gifts for the country. My attitude is, why wouldn't I accept a gift?
Well, it hasn't been given yet as far as we know, but we may hear more about that through the course of the day. Back to you guys.
A lot of people are also wondering what is in this for the Qataris, and now that he's there in Qatar, we might get a clear picture as to what that might be later on today.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is the argument that, especially in diplomatic circles, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Obviously, they want to curry favor with the administration. But again, there are some, Democrats are upset about this, but there are some misgivings among some Republicans as well about this if it should come to pass.
And so much focus on this airplane, and yet there's still so much to be done here with Qatar. We have a military base there in Qatar, and the Qataris are really involved in negotiations between the Palestinians and Israel. So other things to talk about there today. The president has touched ground there, and we will check in with you, Doug, to hear the latest developments there from the Middle East. Doug, we appreciate it. Thank you.